Morning Dish.
He's the hardest working man in show business. His band's music takes you into the midnight hours. And when you wake up, his voice is back on your radio alarm clock. How on earth did this happen?
Well, Jeff saw me taking out the trash at the radio station.
And he won another award.
But this one is better.
I'm your boogeyman. That's what I am.
It's the Morning Dish with the 2019 Radio Personality of the Year winner, Stephen Phillips.
You paying attention to this, Packy?
And Murphy's own Sherry Raines.
Yeah, you must have given horseback passes to the right guy, Stephen.
Well, giddy up.
And Packy Smith's Shetland pony is right alongside.
You guys know these demo tapes don't just edit themselves together, right?
Well, all right.
3 cheers for Stephen Phillips.
Y'all need to help Stephen Phillips out over there. Out the door and off the radio.
Here's Stephen Phillips.
All right, folks, we're back with you. We got Sara Bradford for you. Jake Kyle Books, and we're glad she's here. How you doing?
I'm so good. How are you doing, Stephen?
I'm doing pretty good, but everybody else in here is grouchy, but I'm right on time.
Well, I'm having my coffee, and I'm excited to talk to you this morning.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about it. Everybody has been in touch with autistic children and it seems like it's getting worse, or more people's finding out about this. But anyway, you've got books, you've got a lot of stuff going on. So these folks out there listening, tell them what you do and what's going on.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I am a mother of 3, and my children and my husband are all on the spectrum. And so I have a really great perspective to kind of look at autism through a different lens, through, as a mother with my children, and also through with my husband as an adult, looking back kind of at his life. But
right.
Through that, I have authored 7 children's books all about special needs. And that obviously has brought so many amazing opportunities to help me in my community and to help raise awareness of autism throughout the world, really. So it's been incredible.
Well, now this, how long have you been doing the books? I mean, you got 7 books out, and is Worried Worm, is that one of them, Worried Worm?
Yeah, Wiley the Worried Worm. That's a book about anxiety. They're really cute topics. There's 2 books about autism,
right.
A book about dyslexia, Down syndrome, physical differences in anxiety. So just really wanted to help children identify and help support one another so that they can be, just better peer systems to, you just make better relationships when you understand the people around you and you're able to communicate in ways that are supportive and uplifting for others.
Right. Well, now, I look at this, Doug, the dyslexic duck.
You don't know any ducks that are dyslexic?
Well, Stephen's actually dyslexic, so this really hit.
So now, do you put on this dyslexic duck, or the letters put in the wrong place on purpose, where like us guys, when we, this dyslexic, when we look at it, they're actually spelled correctly?
I probably not. And only because it was our very first book, and I've learned a little bit more since then.
Right.
But I did try my best. I did try to identify it the best that I could through the, knowledge that I was getting.
Right.
But now since writing that book, actually my daughter has been diagnosed with dyslexia. She's 9.
Right.
And now I can see a little bit, maybe I go back in and tweak the book a little bit on those pictures with those letters. And that's about it, though. Everything else is true to form.
Well, here's something that I know, and hopefully you'll agree with me, but just because these people have got dyslexia or just because they got autism don't necessarily mean that these kids are slow. It's just that they, like autism, they really concentrate on one thing. I've got a nephew that he's like in 3rd grade, he's reading like 8th grade level reading,
Yeah. Yeah, what I love, the message I want to bring to the world is that autism isn't a way of behaving. Autism is a different way of thinking. Autism is a way of thinking in patterns or systematically. And sometimes when people think in patterns and with systems, life functions, executive functions fall behind because they're so caught up in the small details of things that it's hard to see the big picture sometimes.
Right. And dyslexia is like the reverse from that. They don't get caught up in none of the details.
Yeah, and that's really interesting. You said that, Charles Schwab is dyslexic. Think of that. I mean, that's one of the, richest, most, investing kind of people. And think just the people that we have in our society, they're coming out and saying, oh, I have autism, I have Asperger's. Elon Musk just did that on Saturday Night Live. And all of the other people throughout our history, I mean, Dan Aykroyd and, Tesla, the real Tesla to begin with, Isaac Newton.
Right.
It's just, the names go on, and they're just some of our most brilliant inventors of all time.
Well, now you have do you have like a YouTube channel that you go to and discuss a lot of this stuff?
Yeah. I have a show called the S.J. Childs Show. S.J. Childs is my pen name, my author pen name. So you could find my books written under S.J. Childs. And it's also my host name of my show. Right. I just thought I'd stick with that brand and keep on going.
There you go. So now, are you currently writing books now? I mean, you've got 7 out. Are you in the process?
I am. Yeah. I actually have several more books on lots of different subjects. We have one that we're going to do about a female with autism, just because male autism and female autism present very differently. And it's really great for the world to understand that as well. And then we have some other hearing impairment, vision impairment. We're thinking about maybe pairing up with a girl who has cerebral palsy and writing a book about cerebral palsy for kids to understand, kids who wear braces or in wheelchairs. So, yeah, I think it's really great to give these kids that little bit of knowledge so that when they are faced or come up to somebody who's different than them, they can support them and not be afraid. Because when you don't know something, you usually face it in fear, and then that causes judgment, bullying, all sorts of other things. So best to just educate them first.
Well, now Packy needs a little help too, because his wife worked out of town, but now she's moved back to where she's working in town, so she's home all the time, and he is like freaking out.
Yeah.
She's got nothing to say about that.
Isn't that the truth? Oh, too funny.
He come in this morning, he's like, she's home all the time now. But anyway,
yeah, that's true.
Now you've got your kids has got autism, or you got 3 kids?
Yes. So I have a 9-year-old with dyslexia and autism. It's a female. Then I have a 11-year-old son. He was diagnosed first in our family. He was diagnosed over a decade ago when he was only 16 months old. Our daughter, on the other hand, is, like I said, 9, and we're just barely finding out. So it's just it's so interesting, the levels of challenges, or just where you see it, where it presents itself, and where it doesn't. So it's really interesting. And then, like I said, I have a 21-year-old, a stepdaughter, and she is also on the spectrum, and then my husband. So, yeah, and they are the most creative people. I don't know how much I told you about my son, but he was reading at 1, writing at 2, and then at 3 we realized he had a photographic memory. So
oh, wow. That
kind of sounds like the same. We have an 11-year-old college professor now.
That's crazy. That photographic memory, I knew of a guy that had that. That is unreal how they do that. It's just...
it's unreal. He was doing algebra in preschool.
I was going to say, it's going to be hard to pull anything over on that kid. He's going to remember everything you do.
Everything. Yeah, it's incredible. It's taught me so much. Like, who knew that I could, almost have a PhD and never even have a degree, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm just so smart, right? Because my kid just is teaching me several languages a year and all kinds of things. So.
All right. Yeah, well, we're about time for a break. If these folks want to get up with you, how do they get up? Where's your website and all that information?
Yeah, thanks. You can just Google S.J. Childs, or you're welcome to come stop by our website at sjchilds.org. You can find us on all the social media, S.J. Childs, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook, LinkedIn, of course. And, yeah, so please stop by and visit and help spread awareness to children and schools. So
and if
thanks
you've
so
got
much
a
for having
kid,
me
you know,
on.
if you've got somebody that's got this, these books is just, they're great. And that's something that
I think even for kids, this would be enlightening for children that don't have any of these,
Definitely.
things going on. I hate to use the word handicap. I have a grandson that has autism. I have a daughter that has cerebral palsy. And the big thing that I realize you have to learn how to deal with different things, but not to let them ever give up on themselves, and they can do as much as they want to do.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, the language really is defeating for them, and so hopefully someday they could take a look at that and really think about how they can empower kids through the language of their diagnoses rather than disorder and things like that.
Exactly.
I'm a little unfond of those things.
Yes.
So anyway, well, listen, we sure appreciate you getting out of the bed this morning, talking to us.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
You take care.
Let's catch up soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you for listening. This is Stephen Phillips, host of The Morning Dish. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel because we have a lot more interviews out there to listen to. Plus, you can listen online every morning at WJULradio.com or Lake 97.7 WJUL. And give us a like on our Facebook page, The Morning Dish.